Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My name is Babur Lateef. I am excited to be here this morning to share the school's legislative agenda and our budget priorities. Before we get into that, though, I'd like to first tell you a little bit about myself. I am a small business owner in Prince William County. I have an ophthalmology practice in Woodbridge and Manassas City on Route 1. I've been there since 2002. I practice at Centera Hospital and the Novant UVA Health System. My practice currently employs 12 people. My wife is a pediatric neurologist here in Prince William County. She convinced Children's National Hospital and the Pediatric Specialists of Virginia to invest and build a clinic in Prince William County. She's the only neurologist for children in the county, and their office is in Woodbridge on Route 1 as well. And they employ, I think, 3 or 4 people over there. I was a member of the chamber when I first came to town, and I understand the important work you all do and the commitment you guys do for our community, and I thank you all for that. I wear 2 hats that have bearing on what the Chamber of Commerce is concerned with. Both hats involve education. I believe economic progress drives social progress. Social progress drives economic progress. The key to both social and economic progress is education. The first hat I wear is being a member of the Board of Visitors at the University of Virginia. I have served on that board for 2.5 years now. I chair the Audit, Compliance, and Risk Committee, and I vice chair the Health System Board. The Health System Board oversees the Joint Operating Committee that oversees the Novant Hospital and UVA Health System relationship. So what actually happens in Prince William County for the business community directly affects University of Virginia's health system, because we have a share in Novant's hospitals. Many of the issues you face as a chamber of businesses here in the county, I face as a small business owner and as part of overseeing the UVA relationship. The second hat is my new position as chairman of the Prince William County School Board. I am in the unique position of overseeing education from K through 12, and then as a member of the UVA board, education at the higher education level, all the way from undergrad through graduate school, med school, law school, and beyond. I am very concerned with our workforce at every level. As our businesses and industries continue to be disrupted, we will continue to face the challenges of properly preparing our workforce. This challenge begins with career and technical education at the high school level and goes through medical and law school training. Our educational institutions will need to be disrupted themselves to adequately adjust to the constant demand of our industry. I believe Prince William County schools must continue to evolve to ensure we address the needs of our population and the needs of the business community. We have done a tremendous job in improving our graduation rate, and much credit goes to Superintendent Dr. Stephen Waltz for this. His efforts over the last few years have borne great success. His administration and the school board have implemented innovative programs such as the new Independence Non-Traditional School and the expansion of our governor's program at Innovation Park. Disruption is taking place all around us. It will have a dramatic effect on your ability to recruit talented employees for your companies. Stanford University offered some insight into higher education for the future on their website called Stanford 2025, and I encourage you to take a look at this. They have envisioned a university with a series of on and off ramps. The idea is to enroll and get what you need, leave after a year or 2 to get the job you may be offered or want, and come back for further education as needed, either in person or virtually. They, like many companies and industry, realize the value of a traditional 4-year degree may not be necessary for good employees. Rather, a skill set or a set of validated credentials is more valuable. And being able to have the opportunities for their employees to be uptrained or provided with continuing education to keep them current and competitive is becoming ever more important. Prince William County Schools have a vision of a world-class education, and we hope to lead and continue to provide top-notch talent to our community and our universities. Our legislative agenda and budget priorities will help us achieve this vision. So I'm going to go through our slide. Oh, how do I do that?
I wonder if we could just erase that. You can just exit. Yeah, it's that.
Oh, great.
I mean, for security.
Slideshow.
I think it's okay.
Or
for you.
view.
So I may stand up just so I can see the slides as well, move around. Just please consider this informal. Feel free to ask any questions as we go through the slides. You don't have to wait till the end. I'm going to try to go through them fairly quickly so we have enough time to chat if you guys have any questions or concerns.
Go back one, I'm sorry.
Okay, no problems.
Do we need the lights dimmed, or do you all read?
First row would be nice.
Just the first row. Yeah.
That was,
There you go.
oh, that's
Yeah.
great. Oh, that's fantastic. It helps me out too. As I get older, I can't see as well either. You know.
You should have all demolished
Yeah, I know. I should be good at this, right? So we have the 2019 legislative priorities and budget priorities for the school system. You know, just some information about the schools. We have about 90,000 students in the school system, 100 schools and centers, more than 11,500 employees. More than 91% of our employees are school-based. We are the largest employer in Prince William County. And we welcomed nearly 800 new teachers to Prince William County schools last year. We are Virginia's second largest school division and the nation's 35th largest unified school system. And that's really very impressive. Student demographics, 34% Latino, 30% white, 20% black or African American, or African actually, 9% Asian, and then mixed about 6%. We have 25% of our students are English learners, 12% are students with disabilities, and 40% economically disadvantaged. These are by federal guidelines. Our profile, we offer more than 9,200 breakfasts a day and nearly 51,000 lunches. 814 buses serve 61,000 riders, traveling 56,000 miles daily, and cleaning about 11,200,000 square feet of space. A funny story about buses. My father came from Pakistan to England to do his PhD in England at the University of Newcastle. When he arrived, his first week, his professor, who was his mentor, had just come back from spending a year or two in the United States on sabbatical, and he was an Englishman. And he came back, and my dad's dream was to come to the United States. England was just a temporary place to stop at. And he asked the professor, he said, "Hey, what do you think of the United States? Like, what's amazing about it?" And this is 1959, 1960, 61, right, 61. And the professor said, "You know what's amazing about the United States of America? That I have two daughters, and they were in the public schools. The bus never came late, always showed up, always got my kids back and forth." He said, "They have the most amazing busing system in the world. It's absolutely incredible what they do on a daily basis. We take for granted, this, and we do have trouble, struggles because we have a shortage currently of bus drivers, but we truly take for granted the massive operation that we're running on a daily basis across the United States and how well we do it. And so I think that's, kudos to our school system and our folks who are working there. New schools on schedule and within budget. We have the Parkway Elementary School that will open up this year. That is over near the Chin Center, and the Independence Non-Traditional School, which opened up this year. Strategic plan, 2020 vision for a world-class education. Student achievement, all students meet high standards of performance. These are our goals. Climate, the teaching, learning, and working environments should be safe, caring, healthy, and value human diversity. Family, community, and employee engagement. Family, community, employees, create an environment focused on improved student learning and work readiness. We want to have a qualified workforce. Employees that are highly qualified is defined by the Virginia Department of Education, and they should be high-performing and diverse. Organizational alignment, the organizational systems should be aligned and equitable. Why providing a world-class education should be important to Prince William County. Businesses consider educational quality when selecting new locations. We see this with Amazon H2Q, we see this with Micron investing $3 billion more in our county. I think we're doing a good job. I think we've created a place where people want to come. We're in the shadow of the planet's capital, and so I think we have a responsibility to the community to provide a high level of education to those folks who choose to come here and make it a very attractive place to come. A well-educated and highly trained workforce is essential to the community's economic health. Our students are the entrepreneur, business, civic, and community leaders of tomorrow, and that is absolutely true. Celebrating student success. We have done a terrific job, and we have 100% of our Prince William County schools accredited. We have on-time graduation rate of 92%. We are just ahead of Fairfax County in this regard, and I want you guys to scream that from the top of the hills because, we live in the shadow of Fairfax County, who is the #1 largest school system in the state, and they do some great stuff, but we are constantly in their shadow, and I think we need to do, as a school system, a better job of promoting our success, and I hope you as leaders in our community get out there and tell everyone how great of a place we are and why you should be choosing to live here. National School Boards Association, Magna Award 2018 for Advanced Programs for All. We have graduates awarded $74 million last year in scholarships, which was incredible, and I got to attend a lot of those commencements, and it was just fantastic to see. Awards nearly 10,000 CTE certificates. These are career technical education in IT, engineering, culinary, and welding, and we want to expand that program. In our budget priorities, we want to invest more in this aspect. Prince William County budget needs employee salaries. We want to do a step increase and a cost of living adjustment this year. It hasn't been done in over 10 years to get both in 1 year. We believe that the recession was over 10 years ago, and we're out of that recession, and we want to see if we can get that done this year. We have trouble recruiting and retaining teachers. It is a struggle. We are losing teachers to Loudoun, Arlington, Fairfax constantly. The biggest complaint I get from folks as I went out there campaigning, or as I sitting as a chairman, is that my fourth grader had a great teacher. My second grader won't have that teacher because she is gone or he is gone because they got paid a lot more in Arlington or got better, work environment. We want to increase mental health support. This goes with safety and security for our schools and making sure we're addressing the needs of our children. Addition of high school courses, expansion of the career technical education programs. We want to continue to provide innovative programs that address, as I said in my intro, the disruption that's currently happening in industry. Sustaining our class size reduction initiative, which is ongoing. We want to continue to reduce class size and provide appropriate infrastructure to our growing population. Continued funding for our current pre-K programs. Prince William County budget needs. Per pupil allocation in the Washington region, we are the lowest. We are right here, right under, I think if you take it across, right around a little bit above $10,000 per student. Arlington is the highest. Now, money doesn't always solve all the problems, but it does help us pay teachers more, provide the infrastructure we need, and give the teachers the tools they need to do a better job of what we're doing. And so these are some of the things we look at as we start making our budget and talking about.
So Doctor,
Yeah.
there's like a $4,000 difference between Arlington and us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually more than that. I think they're up around near 20,000. My stats when I was studying a few months ago was they're on average around $17,000 per pupil per spend. We're right around 10,000.
Yeah, okay.
Loudoun's at the 13 or 12 level, and Fairfax around the 14. I don't know if that bears out in this chart, but that's where they're at. And that number is includes the teacher salary, right? It includes all of that. So I think that is important to look at to understand where we are.
Well, how is that? Because Loudoun doesn't have as many businesses and stuff as we do they? I mean,
they may tax more. I don't have a good explanation for that. They tax more, and they're really committed. I mean, I can tell you the ferocity by which the Loudoun population, and I have some experience with this, because my son's at Thomas Jefferson High School. So we share that with Loudoun County, we share that with Arlington and Alexandria. Loudoun has thought about pulling out of that partnership. They want to build their own governor's school. I mean, it's like a riot at those meetings where people are where they do not want to pull out, but they also want to expand their governor's program. There's a real commitment by that community to invest heavily, and you have a lot of IT folks living up there who consider this a very important aspect to the beauty of Loudoun County. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, how does population factor into all this? As you guys look at these numbers, Arlington's population is much smaller than Prince William County's. Should it factor in? Is the fact that Arlington's population is smaller, yet they're spending more on their children, have any weight on this discussion at all?
Well, of course, right? So this is statistics and these are numbers, right? Your population number and your spend is going to be, a numerator and denominator, right? So obviously, Arlington can spend that much more. They have other income streams, right? They're not dependent as much on real estate taxes. They have enormous business taxes, right? They are the center of, Northern Virginia's sort of business community, if you look at that. So they have other areas to tap into resource-wise, and so, but yes, population does matter, obviously, but like if we're going to be, we want to compete with everyone based on our per person, right? I mean, that's how we look at that. So here's our budget. Where does it come from? About 44% of our monies come from the county, and then we have about 40% state aid, and then another about 15% from the federal aid. The federal aid money typically is earmarked. We don't have a lot of play with that. That comes for food programs and Head Start programs, that type of stuff. Where it goes, most of our money goes to instruction, 80%. Facilities management, about 7%, central support, 7%, transportation, 5-6% in general reserves. State-focused budget challenges. Inflation-adjusted state funding for the standard of quality is currently at the 2008 level. So we're asking the state to fund us. I mean, we're 10 years difference. They're still funding us at a 2008 level. Now, you know, some of that funding halted because of the recession. But we're asking the state to consider, you know, funding schools at the level we ought to be at in 2018. Cost of competing funds are down $12 million since 2012. Not enough to cover our support staff. Regional school funding, $20 million decrease, and Virginia retirement system costs are continue to be uncertain. Legislative priorities. We want full funding of our standards of quality programs, our teacher salary increases and cost of competing allocation, targeted new funding for reduced class size, repeal and modify profit limitations, alternative assessments to standardized tests, eliminate VRS obstacles to full-time employment of retired police for our school security, and I can go into some of that a little bit later. Remove impediments to beneficial sharing of student contact information. So these are some of the things we're going to be lobbying hard for. In the handouts you guys have, it really nicely summarizes our legislative agenda and priorities, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that here, but as you guys go out, and if you're going to Richmond and you're you know, lobbying on our behalf or talking about our school systems, these are excellent resources to look at. Statements of support. You know, we support some of the bills that stop. There's a bill to have stop armed cameras on school buses. So these cameras come out and they'll see if someone whips by a school bus, and then you can ticket them. This does add revenue, and there's some counties have had very good success in both deterring folks from, you know, going around school buses, at the same time increasing some revenue. Elimination of the school division budgetary match currently required to receive Virginia Preschool Initiative funding. So currently there is matching funds available to us, but we still have to come up with some money. We'd love to see the state just straight up offer money for preschool initiatives. Increased and targeted, we support increased and targeted funding for educational technology, infrastructure, and increased bandwidth. And we are continuing to support dedicated funding to Prince William County Schools to coordinate statewide implementation of the Virginia STAR. We support the repeal of the law that prevents school divisions from opening before Labor Day. We support re-examining Virginia's public school assessments and the system of accountability. That goes with the SOL programs. And we support increased funding for mental health professionals, nurses, and information technology specialists. This is our budget process. February 6th, we'll have the proposed budget out by the superintendent. The 11th, public meeting on the budget and the capital improvement plan. School budget work sessions in February, March, and budget markup March 13th. School budget adoption the 20th. This is all if everything goes well. April 2nd, presentation of the County Board of Supervisors. 23rd, supervisors budget markup, and then budget approval April 30th. Again, much of that will have some effect on what the General Assembly does this year and what if the governor's budget passes.